Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Nishit Kumar with the evening news. The headlines. Third and final phase of Bihar Assembly elections passes off peacefully. 55.22% polling recorded. Prime Minister asks IIT graduates to identify with aspirations of common man for Atmanirbhar Bharat. COVID recovery rate recorded above average daily new cases for the last 5 weeks. India's latest Earth observation satellite, EOS-01, launched successfully. 9 satellites of foreign countries also put into orbit. Fast tags to be mandatory for all four-wheelers from 1st January 2021. And Sports Ministry approves 6 centres as Khelo India Centres of Excellence. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. In Bihar, the third and final phase of assembly elections passed off peacefully amidst tight security. An estimated 55.22% voting was recorded. Polling was held in 78 constituencies spread over 15 districts, including Kishanganj, Katihar, Madhepura and Supol in this phase. A total of 1,204 candidates, including 110 women, are in the fray. Polling for by-election to Valmiki Nagar Lok Sabha seat was also held simultaneously. 7 candidates are in the fray for this seat. Polling in 4 Naxal-affected constituencies of Valmiki Nagar, Ramnagar, Simri Bakhtiarpur and Mahishi concluded at 4 p.m. COVID protocols were strictly followed during the conduct of polls. Addressing media, Deputy Election Commissioner Chandrabhushan Kumar said in New Delhi that in Valmiki Nagar Lok Sabha seat, the polling percentage till 5 p.m. was recorded at 53.62%. He said that during the election, 876 cases were reported for violation of Model Code of Conduct and 156 cases of COVID norms violation. Secretary General Election Commission Umesh Sinha said the polling was concluded successfully and Bihar witnessed enthusiastic polling in all 3 phases. In this phase, BJP was contesting 35 seats while Janata Dal United 37, Vikashsheel Insan Party 5 seats and Hindustani Awam Morcha 1 seat. RJD was contesting 46 seats, Congress 25 candidates and left parties 7 seats. On the other hand, LJP fielded 42 candidates, RLSP 23, BSP 19 and NCP 31 candidates. This phase is crucial for JDU, which had won 23 seats in the 2015 assembly elections. BJP and RJD won 20 seats each and Congress 11 seats. More from our correspondent.
Bihar Assembly election will be remembered in many ways. Amid COVID pandemic, the first election in the country was held in this state. Defying corona infection, a large number of enthusiastic electorates exercised their right of franchise fearlessly. Voting turnout was more in rural areas in comparison to urban areas. Women voting percentage was comparatively more than male. No violence happened during 3 phases of election in the state. The political fortune of Assembly Speaker Vijay Kumar Chaudhary and Chief of Vikashsheel Insan Party Mukesh Sahni was filled in EVMs. Jan Adhikar Party President Pappu Yadav is trying his luck from Madhepura Assembly constituency. 12 ministers including Vijendra Yadav, Veema Bharti, Firoz and Ramesh Rishidev are also in the fray. Senior RJD leader and former minister Abdul Bari Siddiqui, Congress leader Shakil Ahmad Khan and CPI State Secretary Ram Naresh Pandey are also in contest. Now all eyes are on November 10 when counting will be undertaken. Krishna Kumar Lal, AIR News, Patna.
In Manipur, voting for by-election to 4 assembly seats passed off peacefully amidst tight security. Polling was held in Wangoi, Saitu, Lilong and Wongjing Tenta constituencies. Over 91% voter turnout was recorded. The polling began at 203 polling stations spread across 3 districts this morning. A report from our Imphal correspondent.
The voting for by-election for 4 assembly seats of Manipur passed off peacefully with a huge number of voters turning out to exercise their franchise. With this, the fate of 11 candidates who are in fray in this election has been sealed off and the result will be declared on November 10. The present State Minister for Agriculture and Tourism, O Lukhoi, who resigned from the member of State Assembly and joined BJP party recently, is contesting from Wangoi Assembly in the by-election. Following the instruction of Election Commission of India, the poll was conducted with strict COVID-19 protocol. At most of the polling stations, voters wear face masks, maintain the social distancing and thermal scanning was done for all voters. As on that, the ruling BJP party has 18 members while the opposition party Congress has 17 members in the 60-seat Manipur Assembly. Therefore, this by-election is crucial for both BJP and Congress. JJ Thoksom from Imphal for AIR News.
In Nagaland, a total of 71.84% polling has been recorded in 2 polling stations of 8 Kipongia Ward A Kefere Town and 11 Singre polling stations under 60 Pongoro Kefere Assembly constituency. Repoll called by the Election Commission in these 2 polling stations concluded peacefully.
After the repoll, 60 Pungro Kipri Assembly constituency has now recorded a total of 91.57% voters turned out, while in Southern Angami 1 Assembly constituency, the voters turnout was 84.41%. With this, a total of 89.34 poll percentage has been recorded for the by-election to 14 Southern Angami 1 and 60 Pungro Kipri Assembly constituencies. Altogether, 8 candidates including 4 major political parties, BJP, NDPP, NPF and Congress and 4 independent are into fray for the 2 assembly constituencies. Content of votes in these 2 assembly constituencies will take place on 10th of November. For AIR News, this is Afanyo from Kohima.
In Jammu and Kashmir, in its maiden meeting in Jammu today, the People's Alliance for Gupkar Declaration, PAGD, unanimously decided to contest the upcoming District Development Council polls unitedly. Addressing media persons, the Alliance spokesperson, Sajjad Ganilon, announced that all the modalities and the new administrative rules will be looked into, and the Alliance President Dr. Farooq Abdullah will declare the names of contestants on his own.
The Prime Minister has asked the fresh IIT graduates to recognize the needs of the country and connect with the changes on the ground. He also asked them to identify with the aspirations of the common people in the context of Atmanirbhar Bharat. The Prime Minister was addressing the 51st annual convocation ceremony of IIT Delhi as chief guest via video conferencing in Delhi today. Congratulating more than 2,000 IITians on their convocation, the Prime Minister said Atmanirbhar campaign is a mission that gives opportunities to youth, technocrats and tech enterprise leaders of the country.
आत्मनिर्भर भारत अभियान आज देश के नौजवानों को, टेक्नोक्रेट्स को, टेक एंटरप्राइज लीडर्स को अनेक नई अपॉर्चुनिटीज देने का भी एक अहम अभियान है. देश आपको ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस देगा. आप आपकी महारत से, आपके अनुभव से, आपके टैलेंट से, आपके इनोवेशन से इस देश के गरीब से गरीब नागरिक को ईज ऑफ लिविंग देने के लिए नए नए इनोवेशंस लेकर के आइए, नई नई चीजें लेकर के आइए.
The Prime Minister said other service provider OSP guidelines have been simplified and restrictions have been removed recently, which would reduce the burden of compliance for BPO industries. He said BPO industry has also been exempted from various requirements, including bank guarantee. He added that provisions that prevented the tech industry from facilities such as work from home or work from anywhere have also been removed. This will make the country's IT sector globally competitive and will give more opportunities to young talent.
पहली बार एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में इनोवेशन और नए स्टार्टअप्स के लिए अनगिनत संभावनाएं बनी हैं. पहली बार स्पेस सेक्टर में प्राइवेट इन्वेस्टमेंट के रास्ते खुले हैं. 2 दिन पहले ही बीपीओ सेक्टर के ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस के लिए भी सरकार ने अदर सर्विसेज प्रोवाइडर ओएसपी गाइडलाइंस को एकदम सिंप्लीफाई कर दिया है. इसके अलावा बैंक गारंटी सहित दूसरी अनेक जरूरतों से भी बीपीओ इंडस्ट्री को मुक्त किया गया है.
The Prime Minister said today India is among the countries where corporate tax is the lowest. More than 50,000 startups have been set up in India since the launch of the Startup India campaign.
The country's COVID-19 recovery rate has improved to 92.41%. During the last 24 hours, more than 53,000 COVID patients have recovered. Health Minister said the last 5 weeks have seen a continuous decline in average daily new cases. The average daily new cases have declined to 46,000 cases from more than 73,000 average daily new cases in the first week of October. The total number of recoveries has gone up to over 78 lakh. The actual caseload currently comprises only 6.11% of the total positive cases. Presently, the total number of active cases in the country is 5,16,000. Delhi has overtaken Maharashtra and Kerala and reported 7,178 new cases in the last 24 hours. In the same period, 50,357 new cases were reported, taking the total number of positive cases in the country to over 84 lakh. 577 deaths were reported in the last 24 hours, taking the total to 1,25,562. Telangana has been incurring an estimated revenue loss to a tune of 52,750 crore rupees under the effect of coronavirus. The state government is planning to adjust the budget estimations accordingly for the current fiscal 2020-21. Senior officials from the Finance Department informed this at a high-level review meeting held by Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao in Hyderabad this afternoon. According to the state government, state-owned revenues are expected to go down by 33,904 crore rupees against an estimated 67,704 crore revenues.
In Andhra Pradesh, 2,367 fresh COVID-19 positive cases were recorded during the last 24 hours. As per State COVID Nodal Officer, 2,747 persons have recovered in the past 24 hours. A record number of more than 85.87 lakh samples have been tested in the state so far. Maharashtra today reported 3,959 fresh COVID-19 cases, taking the total count to 17,14,273. With 150 fatalities, the cumulative toll in the state climbed to 45,115. A total of 6,748 patients were discharged in the day, taking the tally of recoveries to 15,69,090. The number of active cases decreased from 1 lakh to 99,151.
In Manipur, 240 persons, including 14 personnel from the Central Armed Police Force, were confirmed as new COVID-19 positive cases in the past 24 hours, taking the total count of positive cases so far in the state to 20,131. Among the new cases, 226 are locals and do not have travel history. On the other hand, 3 persons expired due to COVID-19 positive in the past 24 hours, thus increasing the total fatality due to the pandemic in the state to 194. Emphasizing on constant vigilance towards COVID-19, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath today said that the effective measures should be continued to control the corona pandemic. He also directed for providing better treatment facilities to corona patients by further strengthening the medical facilities in the districts with lower recovery rates. More from our correspondent.
We beg your pardon, we don't have that report. E-Sanjeevani, the national telemedicine service set up by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, has completed 7 lakh consultations today. The last 1 lakh consultations have come up in 11 days. This novel digital modality to deliver OPD services virtually has been gaining popularity. With over 10,000 consultations being recorded on E-Sanjeevani per day, it is shaping into the largest OPD services set up in the country. An innovative intervention to deliver health services, E-Sanjeevani has started making impact in smaller towns and rural areas. While telemedicine is beneficial for the patients, it also is favorable for the doctors practicing telemedicine, as it limits the contact with patients who are present virtually. The United States reported a third straight daily record for new coronavirus cases yesterday. According to Johns Hopkins University, over 1,27,000 infections along with 1,149 deaths were reported in the last 24 hours. The White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows has also tested positive for the virus. The U.S. is the worst affected nation in the world by COVID-19, with more than 9.7 million confirmed cases and a death toll of more than 230,000.
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. The third and final phase of Bihar Assembly elections passed off peacefully. 55.22% polling recorded. Prime Minister asks IIT graduates to identify with aspirations of common man for Atmanirbhar Bharat. COVID recovery rate recorded above average daily new cases for the last 5 weeks. India's latest Earth observation satellite EOS-01 launched successfully. 9 satellites of foreign countries also put into orbit. Fastags to be mandatory for all four-wheelers from the 1st of January 2021, and Sports Ministry approves 6 centres as Khelo India Centres of Excellence. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Welcome back to the news. India's workhorse rocket PSLV C-49 has successfully launched the country's latest Earth observation satellite EOS-01 and placed it into its intended orbit this afternoon. In a copybook-style mission, the launch vehicle also put 9 foreign satellites into space. The weather at the National Spaceport in Sriharikota slightly delayed the launch, leading to its liftoff at 15:12 hours instead of the scheduled time of 15:02 hours. However, ISRO scientists said right from the ignition of the vehicle, its flight parameters were accurately coinciding with the projected path. In just under 15.5 minutes of the ignition of the rocket, the primary satellite EOS-01 was inserted in its 575-kilometer low Earth orbit. Its solar panels were deployed immediately, and the satellite team of ISRO took control of it. ISRO Chief Dr. K. Sivan congratulated the scientists, engineers and technicians involved in the mission, saying it is like a celebration ahead of the festival of Deepavali.
Today, the PSLV C-49 successfully placed Earth observation satellite EOS-01 as well as 9 customer satellites precisely into the 575-kilometer orbit. Subsequent to this mission, the satellite started operating its own functions. The solar panels of the satellite also successfully deployed.
The successful PSLV mission has resulted in increased capacity for the user agencies of the nation in viewing the surface of the earth seamlessly for agriculture, forestry and disaster management applications. More from our correspondent.
Braving against all odds due to the COVID-19-led lockdown, the ISRO has achieved a resounding success in this year's first launch from Sriharikota today. The Earth observation satellite EOS-01 will form part of a family of such payloads that will enhance the capacity of the nation to view the Earth from above in a seamless fashion, irrespective of the weather or atmospheric conditions. One of the major highlights of the ISRO Chief Dr. Sivan's announcements today is the first development flight of a new booster, that is the Small Satellite Launch Vehicle, which is expected to happen very soon. At present, India has the Tall Boy PSLV, the 2-ton class GSLV and the Fat Boy GSLV Mark III as the rockets under use. What is new with the SSLV is that it can be assembled in just a couple of days and can be used for launching payloads of less weight to low Earth orbit or even sun-synchronous orbit, for which the demand is more even from international customers. Its design features enable it to drop several payloads into different orbital heights. Jai Singh, AIR News, Chennai.
Ministry of Road Transport and Highways has issued a notification making fastags mandatory for all four-wheelers from the 1st of January 2021. This will apply to old vehicles as well as M and N category of motor vehicles sold before 1st December 2017. As per Central Motor Vehicles Rules 1989, the fastag had been made mandatory for registration of all new four-wheeled vehicles since the 1st of December 2017 and is being supplied by the vehicle manufacturer or their dealers. It had further been mandated that the renewal of fitness certificate will be done only after the fitment of FASTag for the transport vehicles. For national permit vehicles, the fitment of FASTag has been mandated since the 1st of October 2019. The ministry said a valid FASTag is also mandatory while getting a new third-party insurance through an amendment in Certificate of Insurance, wherein the details of FASTag ID will be captured. This will be applicable with effect from the 1st of April 2021. The ministry said this notification would be a major step for ensuring that the payment of fees be 100% at toll plazas through the electronic means only and that the vehicles pass seamlessly through the fee plazas. Availability of FASTag at multiple channels is being ensured through physical locations and also through online mechanism so that citizens are able to have them affixed on their vehicles within the next 2 months at their convenience.
Online application process for Hajj 2021 started today with Union Minister for Minority Affairs Mr. Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi announcing Hajj 2021 with significant changes keeping in view the corona pandemic. These include accommodation, period of stay of pilgrims, transportation, health and other facilities both in India and Saudi Arabia. Announcing Hajj 2021 at Hajj House, Mumbai, Mr. Naqvi said that national international protocol guidelines due to the pandemic will be implemented and followed strictly during Hajj 2021. The last date of applying for Hajj 2021 is 10th of December 2020. People can apply online, offline and through Hajj mobile app. Mr. Naqvi said Hajj 2021 is scheduled for June-July 2021 and the entire Hajj process is being held according to the necessary guidelines issued by the Saudi Arabia government and the government of India in view of the corona pandemic. In yet another ceasefire violation and for the second time in a single day, Pak Army troops initiated unprovoked and indiscriminate firing along the LOC in Degwar sector of Poonch district this evening. PRO Defence Colonel Devinder Anand said that Pak troops initiated firing with small arms and heavy mortar shelling along the LOC today at about 5:45 p.m. The Indian Army troops guarding the fence are retaliating befittingly. Exchange of fire continued till reports last came in. The PRO said there are no reports of damage to any property and loss of any life yet. In the VRs today also, Pak Army troops violated the ceasefire along the LOC in Mankot sector of the district. This year, over 1,900 ceasefire violations by Pak Army troops and Pakistani Rangers have been recorded along the LOC and international border in the districts close to the LOC in Jammu and Kashmir.
Assam Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal talked to Union Home Minister Amit Shah over phone and apprised him about the situation at the Assam-Mizoram border and steps taken by the state government. He requested the Home Minister for necessary steps by the centre to maintain peace and harmony in the border areas. He assured that the Assam government would follow the directives of the centre in managing the situation. Mr. Sonowal reviewed the current situation of Assam-Mizoram border at a meeting in Guwahati. The Bombay High Court today reserved its order on a plea filed by Republic TV Editor-in-Chief Arnab Goswami challenging his arrest and seeking relief in connection with the 2018 abetment of suicide case. A division bench of Justice S.S. Shinde and Justice M.S. Karnik also granted Goswami the liberty to file a bail plea in a lower court and directed the court to decide on his bail plea if and when filed within a period of 4 days.
The Sports Ministry has approved 6 centres as the Khelo India Centre of Excellence. The ministry has also sanctioned over 67 crore rupees in the current financial year to upgrade these 6 centres. The Sports Ministry has said that the financial support will be extended for the next 4 subsequent years in an effort to identify and groom Olympic-level talent in the country. Speaking about the initiative, Union Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports Kiran Rijiju said creation of centres of sporting excellence across the country is a step towards government's vision of making India one of the top 10 countries in Olympics 2028. He asserted that each of the centres will provide world-class training in a specific sporting discipline and become the main facility in the country where elite athletes of that sport will train. The Sports Ministry is upgrading existing sporting infrastructure in each state and union territory with a partnership and is creating Khelo India Centres of Excellence with an aim to create a robust sporting ecosystem in the country. At Sharjah in the Women's T20 Challenge Cricket Tournament, Supernovas were 122 for 2 after 17 overs against Trail Blazers when reports last came in. Earlier, Supernovas won the toss and elected to bat first. Due to the superior net run rate, Trail Blazers is almost guaranteed a place in the final regardless of the result. All it needs to do is avoid a massive defeat. Supernova has won both the earlier editions of the Women's T20 Challenge. The final will be played on November 9th, 2020.
In the U.S. presidential election, Democrat candidate Joe Biden has said he is confident of victory as he inches closer to beat Donald Trump. Talking to supporters in Wilmington, Delaware, Biden said he was going to win this race. He was joined by his running mate, California Senator Kamala Harris. The Democratic challenger now has 253 of the 270 electoral college votes needed to win the presidency. Biden leads vote counts in the battlegrounds of Georgia, Nevada, Pennsylvania and Arizona. A Biden win would see Trump leave office in January after 4 years. As counting enters its fifth day, it is still unclear when the contest will end. Officials are tallying up record numbers of postal votes due to the coronavirus pandemic, causing the longest delay to a presidential election result in 20 years.
Now, let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital will have fog or mist in early morning. The minimum temperature will be 11 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 31 degrees. In Mumbai, sky will be mainly clear. The minimum temperature in the metropolis will be 20 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 35 degrees. Chennai will have partly cloudy sky. Temperature will hover between 25 and 32 degrees Celsius. Kolkata is expected to have a clear sky with temperature varying between 19 and 31 degrees Celsius. On to the north, in Srinagar there will be mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature will be -1 degree Celsius while the maximum will be around 20 degrees. In Jammu, lower level of temperature will be 11 degrees Celsius while the upper level will be around 29 degrees. In Leh, sky will be mainly clear. Minimum temperature will be -7 degrees while the maximum will be around 12 degrees. Gilgit will also see a clear sky with temperature hovering between -1 and 23 degrees Celsius. In Muzaffarabad, sky will be mainly clear and the temperature will move from 8 to 27 degrees Celsius. In Dehradun, the temperature will hover between 11 and 28 degrees Celsius. The city will have a mainly clear sky. Chandigarh will have a mainly clear sky with temperature oscillating between 12 and 29 degrees Celsius. In Hyderabad, the minimum temperature will be 19 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 31 degrees. City will have partly cloudy sky with haze. Ahmedabad will see a clear sky. Minimum temperature will be 16 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 34 degrees. Patna will have a clear sky with temperature hovering between 15 and 29 degrees Celsius. And Guwahati will have fog or mist in early morning. Minimum temperature in the city will be 18 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 30 degrees.
Some more news. Paddy procurement at MSP by government has registered an increase of nearly 19.42% this year. The government has said that compared to previous year's corresponding purchase so far, paddy procurement under Kharif 2020-21 marketing season has witnessed a huge upsurge. Over 20,50,000 farmers have already benefited. The government has paid an amount of nearly 46,000 crores. Paddy procurement for Kharif 2020-21 is progressing well in Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Uttarakhand, Chandigarh, Jammu and Kashmir, Kerala and Gujarat. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu today called for multi-pronged efforts to make Indian agriculture sustainable and profitable. Inaugurating the 120th birth anniversary celebrations of Acharya N.G. Ranga, Vice President described him as a great freedom fighter, a farmers' leader, a social reformer and an outstanding parliamentarian. The News Services Division of All India Radio in its bilingual live phone-in program will bring you a special discussion on COVID-19 tonight. This can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. Professor of Medicine, Safdarjung Hospital, Dr. Geeta Kampani will participate in the discussion. Listeners can ask questions to the expert on toll-free telephone number 1-800-115767. You can also ask questions on telephone number 23314444. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Third and final phase of Bihar Assembly elections passes off peacefully, 55.22% polling recorded. Prime Minister asked IIT graduates to identify with aspirations of common man for Atmanirbhar Bharat. COVID recovery rate recorded above average daily new cases for the last 5 weeks. India's latest Earth observation satellite, EOS-01, launched successfully. 9 satellites of foreign countries also put into orbit. FASTag to be mandatory for all 4-wheelers from 1st January 2021, and Sports Ministry approves 6 centres as Khelo India Centres of Excellence. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.